So there are some big differences between our new Pro Series line and the model you'll find everywhere else on the internet. Whether the pictures look like ours or not, this is exactly how it comes. This would be the closest comparable machine, 800 holes. You have to put these together. They come very dirty because they were handmade, hand drilled. This tamper piece is extremely heavy, and it is 2 separate pieces held together with screws. You can hear these things move a little bit. Unlike ours, notice this one's smaller. That's because this is only 400. There are a couple reasons. This is extremely heavy and it's hard for many people to hold when tamping down powder. Another reason is that aligning all 800 holes at one time while holding such a heavy piece is actually very hard to do, because you have to make sure they all align very properly and you don't accidentally press down the sides of the capsules. That's why we created the half acrylic piece with high quality resin. Each piece is inside of the resin. It's not 2 pieces together. They don't move. It's one solid piece. Now, if you look at this really closely, the edges of these cylinders, they're very hard. This makes it so that they can catch the edge of a capsule, and if you're not careful, you can actually press down a capsule body, causing damage to the capsule when trying to tamp the powder. Ours come with beveled edges, very, very slightly. If you look closely, you see the bevel on the edges. That makes it so that it's much easier to align. Not only do you have less capsules to align at one time, but the beveled edges let you easily find the holes, press them down, and not damage any capsule. Now, moving on, this generic acrylic machine you'll find everywhere else comes with very poor quality hardware, so you would just attach them to the other side of this. Now, you'll notice that the edges of these, some of them are chipped because they're just poor quality resin. They literally arrive chipped, just like that right there. You can see that closely, it's chipped. They have hard edges. Now, if you look at our machinery, they have well-rounded, polished CNC edges, very clear like glass. Now, I'm gonna put this in the same direction. Very heavy. This is a bit lighter because it's made as light as possible while having the most strength as it can. Not only does it have 12 points of hardware for the most spring strength and longevity, but down here you can see we made it easier to clean by making the second piece on each side have a large hole. This also decreases the weight tremendously, because that is actually, if you look here, the thickest piece. Now, take these parts off to get to the bottom part, okay? As you can see, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of hardware. You have thin pieces of acrylic, lower quality, hard edges. The hardware itself is really not ideal. You see you have Phillips head screws on each one, whereas we've made ours very easy for use in cleaning. Say you're using a sticky substance and you find that some gets caught underneath this plate. Well, how are you gonna clean it? On this machine right here, you'd have to unscrew these and it would completely undo this hardware, which is extremely annoying, and readjust to be the perfect height. Very, very difficult, and that's why we made this so that these pieces all right here come off with just a hand twist. And you can just easily remove all this without having to readjust anything. And that is a huge plus. Not only this, but as we're flipping it, you can just go ahead and look at the thickness of these 3 pieces. Very thick, very nice, solid press. Now I'm gonna do the same thing over here. You got 2 pieces, very thin, very flimsy press. And the bottoms, they are just hex bolts. This is a problem for multiple reasons. One, if you're using this on a bench top or dining room table even, you can easily scratch the table. 2, the thing can slide around if it's on a glossy surface, which can cause problems during use. Now, ours comes with metal and rubber bottom hardware for each leg to keep it in place during use. The thicker pieces make the overall press much more even. So when you press this down, all capsules will be pressed evenly. As you can see over here, doesn't happen quite the same, and it's very flimsy. This can actually warp and droop. Another huge advantage no one realizes, this generic 800 hole machine you'll find everywhere else does not come with a powder guard. Now this powder guard is extremely useful. Honestly, it's necessary for any capsule filling machine. You'll notice that all of our capsule filling machines come with powder guards. Now this allows you to move your powder around without it falling off the edges and making a mess everywhere else. Now, as you see during this unboxing, this was not packaged properly. This is why it arrives with so many scratches. Also, it has like oils from people's hands being touched it because it was partially, at least, made by hand. It has these very dirty yellow drilled holes. And I'm not kidding. If you want to look closely, you see the yellow, look at that. That's how this arrives to us. Fingerprints all over it, dirt, grime. This is how it arrives. We're talking a $750 machine. That's not okay. Now, to actually put these on, it is very annoying to do this. You have to line this up properly and make sure you do it right. The first time I did it, I actually did it. I didn't know which side was up, so I screwed them all in, and these were facing downwards. And so I had to take it all apart and then put it in the other side because I didn't know which way it was supposed to go. And so that's something that you should be aware of if you do end up with a machine like this and not one that comes pre-assembled like ours. Now, the reason this doesn't come pre-assembled, I'm sure, is for shipping. It would probably break. Ours comes in a full styrofoam padding box that keeps every single piece perfectly still. During shipment, you will not receive any broken parts or scratched or anything like that. Moving on. Oh, and these are the screws for it, which some of them are different sizes, but they don't tell you which is which. Now, the middle plate holds the capsule tops in place while you flip the tops over to put onto the capsule bottoms. Now, just like ours, this one has indents, except as you can see, they are hand cut very, very poorly to indicate the side up. Same thing on this side, hand cut poorly, but that's how you know which side is up. Ours, as you can see, it's CNC edged and interchangeable too. The problem with pieces that are hand drilled is that if you ever need a new piece, you can't be sure it will align exactly the same as your old piece did, and if you cause problems during production. Now, moving on to the last piece, this is the top. As you can see with ours, one solid piece, perfectly drilled, so the tops all fall in place. Now, this one is two separate acrylic pieces all drilled together. This is a problem. I'm going to tell you why for a few reasons. Inside each hole, look on the side, there's a space between this acrylic piece and this one right here. So this is what stops the capsule tops from falling through. They're not being held in a cup shape. It's a very hard edge of contact. Whereas on ours, they're like a bowl. Safer for the capsule, much less likely to crack because there's a perfect rounded edge of contact throughout the whole thing. Now also, and this is a big problem, other than being dirty when it arrives, during use, you will get dirt underneath this. I've actually done this before with this machine. Taking all these off to clean it, it is very, very difficult, time consuming. Now, this is also a big problem because water, when you're cleaning this, will get trapped inside this, getting water and substances inside of this, and then over time, you're just gonna grow mold. Very unsanitary. That's why we've improved upon this tremendously. Made one solid piece, prohibiting this from ever happening. Easy to clean, no problems whatsoever with that. So just being completely clear, this product is a much larger hassle than it's worth. Whereas with this, not only are you getting a very well-crafted machine that will last you years and years, even with daily use, but you get the proper maintenance instructions, a digital scale so you can weigh out your powders, and you get a 20 count pack of our Blate paid several films. They're just like capsules, except holds a lot more powder and allows you to swallow more at one time. We wanted to show you the difference in the Pro model at the largest scale, so that's why we use the Beast. But same goes for all the other Pro model acrylic machines we carry. There's a huge difference between the Gen 2 Pro model line and the generic acrylic machines you'll find everywhere else online.